So it's an election year. You know what that means? That means we're probably going to get another lockdown right in time for the election. Not that they have to like do that to, you know, do whatever they're going to do to get the winner. People always talk about how, oh, it's rigged, it's rigged. It's rigged, but not in the way people are saying. It isn't like something like how they're like, oh, you know, Joe Biden's gonna rig it or Donald Trump's gonna rig it. It's not. It's neither. Those guys aren't even involved in that kind of in the process of it. It's all decided way in advance by different forces that we know nothing about. You know, I was looking at the weird stuff in Hermes. There's always a bunch of like esoteric stuff in there. Symbolism. So yeah, I keep my eye open for stuff like what they're going to use to be the big thing, the big bad, to lock people down again. And I've been noticing stories about just the regular code being back, except it's in a new, like, much tougher form. And the reason it's mutated into a tougher form is because of the unvaccinated. Because, of course, right? Like that's why. And they explain why it mutated, like saying if everyone had gotten vaccinated, it wouldn't have blah 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 and fake science bullshit to build a narrative. So they're already back to demonizing people who haven't gotten it. After trying to do that like apology thing, like last year, where they started floating those stories in the media, saying, well, you know, none of us really knew. So, I mean, you know, we all had bad information, that kind of thing. Trying to get some kind of, so you'll forgive them for making you a second-class citizen, or wanting to, or trying to. People were evil. They were evil. Well, because what it is it's like, you know, a lot of the people that are getting the thing, they're not people like you. They're tools of the system. You know, whatever you want to call the system here, the operating system. They're going to do what they tell them to, what they're ordered to do. Not, you know, don't actually come out and tell them, but they're persuaded by a means we don't understand. And their job is to get those of us who are living with a connection to divinity and God, to get us to go along with the things that they cook up with. The OS, the operating system, cooks up. They're supposed to pressure you, not just doing that thing, but like everything in life. Because the whole game and everything is to get you away from God. To degrade your spirit in some way. And that's it. That's the whole game here. Is trying to get you separated from God. You know, they talk a lot about this, they talk about this idea of like some kind of showdown with Satan, or they're going to try to attack God with something they're summoning from CERN. They're going to try to kill God. He might tell his minions that. Satan might tell his minions that. Nombak, Lou, might tell his lower guys that, but he knows he can't win that fight. There's no fucking way. So his whole dig here is to try to take as many down with him into the pit as he can, you know, by separating as much of God's spiritual progeny as possible by taking pieces of that, you know, which is what we are. We're pieces of that, you know. We're different points of attention of one being split up into different people. Not the robots, though. They're not like that. We make up like 5% of the population. That's the current number. That's the current, like, you know, schizo number of people are working with, you know. when I first started looking into this stuff, and it is indeed it's a concept that's been around for a long, long time. You know, different cultures have different names for it. There was one I talk about all the time where it was being explained there's actually three kinds of people. Like one who's kind of in between, that could be swayed to understanding you, but not necessarily able to connect to divinity. The people here that are God's kid are God's kid. And by people here, I mean there's only one person. It gets crazy right away. We're all one being, the progeny of God, the child of God. We're in what amounts to an incubator, an egg here, and learning lessons to become a better divine being, whenever. But to expedite that, our consciousness is split up into all these different bodies, so we're all learning a bunch of lessons at once. Ultimately, we graduate out of here together, but the feeling is in some circles that we've already reached that point a long time ago, but we've been trapped here. Trapped here by, the Namdak. Lou's trapped up here when he got a third of the faculty to rebel with him and turned God's training area, his school, his egg, into a farm, which is the problem we're having now. Now, for whatever reason, he can't get into it. And that brings up the question, like, God can't get into his own world. Is it like a computer type situation? Like he built the server, or he built the email system, but they password locked him out. So even though he built them, he can't get into it. Maybe it was something like that. But yeah, he can't get in here. He can send a messenger though, and he did. His son, our brother, Jesus, who was basically a holy IT guy who came down here and was like, look, the system ain't working like it was supposed to. None of this is supposed to be happening. Follow what I tell you, and you can get out of here too. By the way, all this crazy stuff you see me doing, you can do it too. Come on, Matthew, get out of the boat. Walk over to me. I don't know. Get out of the boat, Matthew. All right. Right in the water. Damn it, Matthew. Yeah, he's the subtext, or is sometimes a lot more overt when he's talking about God moving mountains. Well, the thing is, the problem with the Bible. Let me give you let me start 5 sentences at once and jump around between them. The translation can't be trusted. It just can't. It was originally in Greek, right? Oh, that's what they, what I've picked up over the years. Or it was translated into Greek. That was like the first translation we got. Because if you go to Mine Unveiled, he'll tell you the Bible originates from Ireland. And I believe him, because those are my people, and I think that's cool. But yeah, that's where the people in Ireland were the first pre-flood people. And they're the ones that came up with the Bible, or were given the Bible or whatever. And the first translation was Greek. And then you add on top of the whole layer of the Hebrew thing, the Hebrew translation, which was done by people who don't like us and don't want the best for us. In fact, they want to eradicate us. It's going on right now. Yeah, it's happening right now. If you're a noticer, you see it everywhere. But anyway, yeah. Fuck part of the story we're at now. How did I get this far into it? I was on something else completely. Oh, just to wind it all back. I've talked about this stuff like 500 times. Point is, they're gonna try to do something to get you locked down into your house around election time. I can't wait, because I really enjoyed the lockdowns last time. Because I'm fucking not following any of that shit anyway. So for me, it's great. There's nobody out here. Just like how I like to try to get out this time every day, like before noon. It's like no one was out when they first went down. As it went along, as the days wore on, you start to see more people here and there, and then they loosened the restrictions and you were able to go to the park. But in the beginning, cops were like busting people walking around. One of my friends had some ID that he used from a friend of his to make it look like he was an essential worker. It's pretty crazy. The cops are like stopping people. Where are you going? Now with me, I'm just like, I was never stopped, but if I was just going to say, you know, I'm going to the drugstore to get supplies. You know, that like medication. That was something that you could do. Now, of course, this isn't, it was suggested on a federal level, but depending on the state, you know, which color your state is, enforcement is going to vary. This is the bluest of the blue here, which is kind of weird because in occupied territory, you would think, right, it would be opposite, but no, they love licking boots here. They can't lick them hard enough and fast enough. So there was a lot of enforcement of every aspect of that thing. You know, I mean, like even wearing the mask, that whole thing, it was never a law, but people acted like it was. You know, people had signs in their stores too. You're required by Hawaii law to, and I used to be like, no, you're not. I didn't say anything, of course, because you can't argue with people like that, but a lot of people had those signs up saying, you're required by law to wear a mask. And I was thinking, no, that's not true. But, you know, whatever. You can't argue with people like about that. They're completely fucking psycho. You know, they lost their fucking minds. That was what woke me up to a lot of how alone I am in this world. How few of us there are. And how the majority are fucking robots. They really are. Because when I first started too, I was thinking, no one's going to do this. No one's going to listen to this. This is America. We're not going to put up. We're going to do what we want. No one's going to listen to them. Everybody did. Everybody ran home and hid under their kitchen table. And we're scared. And we're getting to my elevator at my house, and there's this guy who lives in my building. I don't really like him. He's kind of I don't know. But anyway, he got in the elevator. He's like, I'm really scared. And I'm like, wow, what the fuck's happening? Like, the killer on the loose in the building? And he was like, no, this whole thing, you know, I'm scared. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Telling him, man, don't be scared, man. He's older than me. I think he's like a tour guide or something. But I don't know what he thinks. Who the fuck cares? So the point is, people were afraid. They were really scared. And even before I kind of figured out what it was, which I knew almost immediately, you know, there was a very small time, a very short period in the very beginning when stuff was coming up from China, those really mysterious looking WebMDs, and, you know, clearly set up people falling down and all these different things where they would say, oh, he dropped dead from this new thing that's in China. And then people walk around him. And I was like, there's something going on, right? And I was thinking it was a weapon of some kind. And then it became pretty clear that it's nothing. And this was the HIV/AIDS thing all over again. Where they say something exists. The tests you take for it are completely non-conclusive and could be 10 different things, and they determine you have it or you have symptoms by your lifestyle, you know, because you have to disclose your lifestyle to them, and they look at your race and, you know, how old you are and stuff, and then that's how it's determined if you should get on the HRT or HCT or what the fuck it is. And that's the thing that, in my opinion, is what does you in, you know. Come to find out, it's not only is it the same method, it's the same guy. Fauci, he was the one that did the whole AIDS thing. So he's just doing it again now on a much larger scale. So right from then, like week 1, I was just like, oh, okay, this is all. And I remember thinking at the time too, I'm like, now they're gonna tell people, right, that they have the cure for this thing. They're gonna make up that they have this cure, and they're gonna try to get everybody to take this thing, and that's where the shit is. And I'm thinking, no, they're not gonna do that. We know it's fake already, but are they gonna try to do that? Are people gonna do it? And yeah, they did. Just like they did with the hiding in their houses. And if I didn't understand the sort of what I call the robots, or that sort of robot theory, that there's a certain percentage of the population that isn't touching divinity, I didn't put that together, hadn't run into that concept at that point. So I was just like, what is making this happen? Because it defies logic. Like, I'm an average C student. If I can figure this stuff out almost immediately, then there's a lot more smarter people out there that should already know all this. And it seemed like they didn't. It's fucking weird. The whole thing is really that meme with the fucking train, We watched the whole thing happen. And if you tried to get out in front of it or run along the tracks or try to pull people off, you get attacked. You were a lunatic. You fucking, what are you, crazy? All those people that were saying that we're crazy are no longer with us. They're no longer with us. I like to think about it because it's horrifying. It's like a nightmare, like an actual nightmare that there is no fucking waking up from. It's fucking crazy. So they're gonna come up with something else, probably for I guess October, probably right after Halloween, right after Halloween parties. They'll do it before Thanksgiving, right? Because they don't want people to be with their families on Thanksgiving, because when they're doing this kind of shit in the world, and this is like a military kind of thing, they don't want people to get together to talk. And Thanksgiving is a time when families get together, maybe haven't seen each other for a long time, and they start talking about stuff, around the Thanksgiving table. Hey, what's wrong with Israel? They're going crazy. They don't want that. They don't want any of that. So, they're going to do it after Halloween and use the parties. There'll be some probably ground zero event, like so many people got sick of this thing, and because of Halloween parties, they'll have some Halloween event that they'll throw out, right? New York Times or something. New York Times, like Times Square or some kind of thing. It's gonna be a big kind of thing for Halloween, and then they can use that as something to say, because they'll have control of the whole thing. That maybe not. That's just one idea, because they do that sometimes. But if they want to get this narrative started off right. But at any rate, whatever happens, it'll be introduced after Halloween, but before Thanksgiving. It is going to be awesome, because I'm going to be the only one out here. Me and a couple other guys. 5%. 5% is the area. Me and other people in my 5%. What are you gonna do? You gotta laugh because it's a fucking grin. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. Until next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school. I like to ride the elevator. Mountains and the foreboding sky. I like to ride the elevator. Mountains and the foreboding sky.